Hi guys, we're talking about the week one interface basic shapes assignment. Basically, rather than talking about all the different tools, I'll just talk about this week's lesson in terms of the assignment itself. So open up the template like I am here. You know, this video might be a little bit deprecated by the time you hear it. There might be some minor changes, but for the most part, everything should be relatively the same. If not, why are you watching this video? What is the matter with your teacher? By the way, I'm just killing time while I'm waiting for the file to open. Come on, file. You can do it. All right, there we go. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about several things. So I'm just going to tell you everything I'm doing because, you know, the assumption is that you don't know what you're doing. Now, you're familiar with Photoshop, so you probably remember that you can zoom in and out in Photoshop. So I'm going to zoom in on the space here. By the way, what I'm looking at are basically two different what you call artboards. This is artboard 1, this is artboard 2. In case you're curious, depending on the way you have Illustrator set up, this is set to Essentials Classic. You might be seeing Essentials. I like to work in Essentials Classic, so I'll switch over to Essentials Classic and show you things here. I suggest Classic. There's just more stuff on the screen for you to see, so it works better for me. But these are artboards. As you can see, there's two artboards. And I created this file for you. Later on, we'll talk more about artboards, but I just want you to be aware of what you're looking at. If you want to zoom in on an artboard, you can just go ahead and, what I press is Control Spacebar. That's how I zoom in on stuff, and I just click. If you just hold your mouse button down, you'll kind of go in like this, go in and out like that, but I just click. A million different ways to do this, and the ways that you do it are the same as with Photoshop. So here we go. First off, it's important to notice that a few things have changed, and the easiest way to really start understanding what's changed is to work with shapes. You know, when you took the Photoshop class, you did have a week or two where you learned about shapes, and you learned about how to draw things with the pen tool, etc., etc. You had the black arrow and the white arrow, you might recall, or you might forget, but this whole class focuses in on that. So let's say that we wanted to draw a rectangle. So we'll just go ahead and go over here to our toolbox and draw ourselves a rectangle. I'm going to draw a rectangle right here, and the box is white, has a white fill and a black stroke. So unlike Photoshop, you've got a fill and a stroke. See that? A fill and a stroke. And if you want to change the color, it's very similar to Photoshop. You just click. And by the way, that just brought the fill to the front. You click and you can change the color. Just like that. It's the same old color picker as Photoshop, so I won't go into detail on that. Then you've got the stroke, which you can also change the color of by double clicking it. You know, let's say that I want a red, and I'll just make it a darker red. Now, if I want to change the thickness of that stroke, if I go over here, as you can see in the Properties panel, because the properties of whatever I have selected don't appear, well, they do appear up here. See up here, right below the main menu, and then over here in the this Properties panel. Either place, you can just make the stroke bigger. You can also take that stroke and you can click on it. And anytime you see a little underline here, a dotted underline, that means that there's another panel that's hidden inside there. So watch this. If I click it, it opens up. Or if I click this one, it opens up. They're both the same panel. It's also in here. If I wanted to find the stroke panel, I could go down here and find it. Of course, why bother? It's already here. So click it. And what you can do, as long as you have the object selected, you can set the stroke to the outside or to the middle, or to the inside. And this is going to become really relevant later on in the class, but the stroke is not, it's actually kind of not real if you want to, I know that's confusing to say, but as you can see this, if I press Control Y, I'll see outlines. Same thing as view and outline view. These are just mathematical lines, so the stroke is what's called an appearance. So if I set the stroke to the outside, and if I press Control Y, you'll notice that it actually disappears because it's not real. You know, it's actually not there. It's just showing me a stroke, and it'll show up in Illustrator. But if I drag it into another program that supports vector art, the stroke wouldn't work. So it's an appearance. It's the first appearance you're going to see, and it's something that you can actually fix by going to Object and Expand Appearance. If you do that, it'll actually convert this to a shape. See? It converted my stroke into a shape. I press Control Z to back up right there, just so you know. But I'm saying too much. Let's go ahead and keep on moving. So if I want to make a copy of a shape, I'll hold down the Alt key, and you'll see that little double arrow right there, and I'll drag, and I can get a copy. Or I can press Control C. Sorry, I pressed Control X. Control C and Control V, that's copy and paste. Or if you're a menu person, you can go to Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste. But man, doesn't that take forever? Why bother, right? But I'm an Alt guy. I just hold down the Alt key. I think that's Option on a Mac, and just drag that out. Now, if you want to change the order of these, let me change the color of this guy. So I'll switch this over to something else. Blue, maybe, for the stroke, and then I'll pick a lighter blue for the fill, right? And by the way, I can also, if you want to not do all that, just hover up here and you can click and change the color, because this is another color tool right there. If you don't feel like double clicking, of course, you don't have as much control up here. But check this out. If I right click the red box, I can go to Arrange and Bring to Front. And if I want to group these, I can select them both, right click, and say Group, just like that. And if I want to go inside the group, I can double click, go inside, and I can move these guys around. And you'll see how everything grayed out when I did that. You'll see that again later in this video, so I won't repeat it. And if you want to ungroup, just right click and ungroup. So let's go ahead and build a little space scene here real quick. You know, the background's going to be black, so or some dark color. You know what? I got to press Control Z. See this right here? I'm still inside the group. Let me back out. There we go. That looks better. What happened there? Weird. See that? It's freaking me out, guys. I'm not sure what that is, but it went away, so we're good. So I'm going to draw myself a background for this space scene. Just like that. And I'll pick a color. I think I'll just pick like a kind of dark purple or something like that. Why not? Then I'll start drawing some planets. To do that, all I have to do is go grab the ellipse tool, and in order to keep your circles and to keep them proportionate, hold down the Shift key, and you'll get a perfect circle. I'll make this thing so it goes off the artboard. So this will actually get cut off the artboard. And I'll go pick a different color. Then I'll make a few other planets. Why not? This is the big one that's kind of up front and center. And then we'll put this guy over here. Why not? Pick a different color for him. We're just having fun here. And now let's go ahead and just do one more. Maybe this guy's way back off in the distance. I held the Alt key to make that copy. We'll just go like that. In fact, let's make him a moon for this planet here. All right, we'll make him a moon. So I'll drag this up here. So this is a moon. So we've got our planets. That's fun. And how do we get some stars involved in this? Well, let's talk about stars here for a minute. This is the star tool. If you click and you drag, you can make a star. Just don't let go. Don't let go for this. So keep that button held down. Now, if you press the up arrow on your keyboard, you're going to get extra points on your star. It's one of the tricks of creating stars. The other thing is if you hold down the Control key, you can actually pull those points in and out. So you can, again, get different shapes for your star. Now, I'm not going to insist that you make a ton of stars like this. I mean, you could keep pressing Alt, and keep rotating them, keep changing their color, draw a bunch of different stars. I would be okay with that. In fact, in past classes, I'd let students do that. But I'm going to show you another way that you can also do this, and in the process, show you a new tool. This is the paintbrush. Now avoid it for now. We're going to learn about that in the future. But the Blob Brush is kind of cool because the Blob Brush actually just creates shapes. So what I'm going to do is just pick out white here. And I'm going to create one little dot. Just like that. See that? That's going to be a star. Now, you'll understand why in a minute, but I want to double click that little dot. And that takes me inside of something similar to what we saw with the group. What that does is let me just work on the dot. I'm doing this on purpose because I just want to draw a bunch of other dots. So I'm going to just keep clicking and randomly drop some dots. I'm not really using the brush tool. I'm not drawing on my keyboard or using, or no, I'm sorry, I'm not drawing with a Wacom tablet or anything like that. I'm just literally just clicking. If I want to make the dots bigger and smaller, I can press the bracket keys. If you want some variation there, yeah, that's totally up to you. I personally don't care. I'm just making dots, but I'm not doing this. Make sure you don't drag, just click. This is a way to get a ton of little stars really quickly. They don't have to be white. I just chose white. All right, and some of these stars are going to be in front of the planets, so I'll have to fix that. All right, I'm done. I'm going to back out of here and check it out. I've got all these stars, and they're in a group. Oh, I thought that would add them all into the same group. Oh, it did. I have to back out one more level, see? And it didn't. Okay. Well, I'm not reshooting this video, so I got a problem. How am I going to solve it? Let me show you. I'm going to back up. I'm going to drag all these out. I'll put them back in their spot in just a minute. Then even the background needs to go. I know it's a pain in the neck, but I'm going to draw a marquee over all of it. Right click and group. And then just bring everything back. Yep, I made a mistake. I'm human. So are you. You're going to make them too. So here we go. Let's be human together, right? All right, so I'm going to go to Arrange and bring to the front. Grab these two, drag these down. I guess I should make this moon a different color, right? So let's go ahead and we'll pick out like a lighter blue. Why not? Put that up here. That's kind of fun. Then I'll drag these guys down. Okay, we've got a nice little solar scene going on right now. You know, the goal for this week is just to kind of get comfortable changing the color of things, grouping things, you know, starting to understand some of the problems you're going to deal with whenever you're working with all these shapes. You know, if you look in the layers panel, look at all these guys. Lots and lots of shapes. And every time you make a group, you kind of make another folder. In fact, layers are pretty much just like the same thing as folders were in Photoshop. So you don't really have when you add a layer, which you don't need to do. By the way, you don't add a bunch of layers. Just don't. These are called sub layers, and they're all you need for right now. But if I wanted more stars, I could just hold down the Alt key and go like this, and I could have a lot more stars. You know, I don't really care to have a whole bunch more. But one thing that is kind of cool is if I wanted to, I could be like, you know what? I want these stars to be, let's say, a light purple or something like that. So if I wanted to, I could have some variety in color. You know, I don't really care, but whatever. I'll leave it there. Why not? Okay. I rotated this, I believe. Yeah. Okay. I'll take it. One mistake I made. See where that space is right there? I rotated that by accident. By the way, I didn't mention how I rotated. I just hovered over the corner, just like in Photoshop, and went like that. All right. I could drill deeper into this, but I'm not going to right now. Let's go ahead and make a little spaceship. Now, spaceships, whatever spaceship you create based off what you learned already this week, it can be really simple. Let me go ahead and show you. I'm going to draw myself. In fact, I'm going to just make a spaceship like this one. Check this out. This is going to be a flying saucer. So I'll make this a light gray. Then I'll draw another saucer on it, like that. And I'll make this a white. How about an off-white? Because I have a plan here. Now if I select these two, hold shift and select them both, you'll notice up here that I have align features that pop up here and over here, just like in Photoshop. So I'm going to align these two, just like that. See how they align to the center of this artboard? I actually need to set it up so where it aligns to the selection, which is, I wish they had that in Photoshop, because they didn't, because they don't in the current version that I'm working with. All right, let's say I wanted a little bit of gloss on this thing. I could go like this and draw a, this is just to kind of look like gloss, like there's something shiny going on there, like it's shiny clean glass. The aliens have been cleaning the glass. And then I'll pick a color. We'll pick out some fun, vibrant color for this spacecraft. You know, in fact, let's really do it up. Let's just go with that color. Why not? That's kind of cool. So in addition to this, maybe we'll put some little dots on here. I'm going to draw one here to start off with. This can be little windows or lights, whatever. We're just going to create them. I think what I'll do, though, is I'll put like a dark green stroke around these. Why not? I think that would look kind of cool. So put a darker green stroke around each of these. I'm going to hold down the Alt key and keep making copies. In fact, I think I'll take one more step. This will make it more fun. In fact, I'll teach you a trick. If I select this guy, and I'm going to lose the stroke in doing this, but I'm going to press I, the I key. That's the eyedropper, and I'll click out here and click this, boom, just like that. And now I'll have to go get that green color back, but it'll be worth it. And now what I'll do is I'll draw myself another little shape like that. This is a circle. It doesn't really have to be a perfect circle if you don't want it to be. And I'll make this guy white. Okay, so that gives it a little bit of a shine, and that was my goal. And I'll take these two, select them, right click, and group them. Then I'll make a copy. We're guessing here, but we're going to make this sort of wrap around the ship. I'm not going to go too crazy here. All right, I'll take this up here. I'm going to go like that. Space-wise, I'll select all these because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and I'll try to distribute them evenly like that. And this isn't perfect, but you know, it's not terrible. Supposedly the space is supposed to be even, but it doesn't look that even to me. I don't know. I'm gonna have to test this. This is driving me nuts. This is how I would test things. Look at that. I pressed Control Y there because I wanted to make sure there wasn't something invisible, and I thought there was, but no, there isn't. Okay, so this is called a spacer. This is how I cheat to check that it's telling the truth. It is telling the truth. Wow, what an optical illusion. Were you fooled too? I'm curious. I'm going to press the I key and then eyedrop this gray so that this also has that little black or that dark green around it. Cool, cool. Pretty happy with this. I've got, you know, other ideas I want to mess around with because I'm always about, you know, I'm like, I wonder, because I have problems. I wonder if I were to eyedrop this green. What's this? I'll press the I key and I'll eyedrop this green, right? And I'll go with a little bit of a lighter version of it. And now I'm going to arrange and send backwards. Now this time I'm going to press Control and the left bracket to move it backwards. So you can see, there we go. It's kind of cool. What I'm doing is I'm creating even more of a highlight effect. Some gloss on this guy. Oh, I like that. But I'm saying too much. I'm doing too much. Let's stop. Select all this stuff, holding down the Shift key, going around, selecting everything, and right-click it and group it. You might choose to make a completely different looking spacecraft, you know. So, but there we have it. There's my little guy. And I've met the requirements for that part of the assignment. Now there's more stuff I could do, I know, but you get the basic idea. Wasn't that fun? All right. So let's stop there, and I'll probably be making another video talking about how we could dig a little deeper than this. Thanks for listening.